Hello, my dear students and the rest of the learners. Welcome to part 14 of a 25-part series of tutorials on creating presentations using Microsoft PowerPoint. In this tutorial, we are going to look at how to work with Autoshapes as part of graphics in a presentation. My name is Meme JM, or you can simply call me Emily Swap. Autoshapes is a group of ready-made shapes that includes basic shapes, such as rectangles and circles, plus a variety of lines and connectors, block arrows, flowchart symbols, stars and banners, and callouts. To insert autoshapes and draw objects using them in a presentation, you select the slide into which to insert the autoshape or draw an object. Then you click on Insert menu and select Shapes. Click on the shape of your choice. Click at the point where you want the shape to commence and drag your mouse to the size and position you want to be occupied by the shape, and then release the mouse button. However, for Scribble, just select Scribble from Shapes, then press down your left mouse button at the point where you want your shape to begin, and drag your mouse button without releasing it as you draw your shape, and then release it once. For curves, click on a curve, and then click where you want the shape to start, and then continue to move the mouse as you click wherever you want to add a curve. To end the curve, double-click at any time. For arcs, just select arc from the shapes, then press down your left mouse button at the point where you want the arc to commence, and drag the mouse to some length and release the mouse button. You can then point on any of the yellow circular handles of the arc. Press left mouse button down and drag it as you would like the arc to look like, and release the mouse button. The following is therefore a demonstration on how to use Autoshapes in a presentation by the title, Introduction to Emily Swap. For us to be able to insert Autoshapes in this presentation, we are going to click on slide number 8, which is next to the slide that we want to insert. Then you click, or we are going to click on Insert menu, and then click on New Slide button, and choose a blank slide, this one. So here we are. We have our blank slide. So if you want them to insert some objects or some autoshapes into this slide, we need to click on Insert menu, then click on the Shapes drop-down button, then choose the shapes that we want. So I want to insert the following shapes. Number 1, I'm going to click on the circle, this oval. I'll click on this oval, and then I'm going to press my mouse button down and drag it to the size that I want. For example, that one. And then I can drag it to the position of my choice. Inside here, I can type the word or the text Emily Swap or Emily Swaps works. Then I can click outside that object. I can then insert another object. I'll click on Insert menu, click on Shapes, and choose another Autoshape. In this case, I'm going to choose this Autoshape here. I'm looking for one. So I can click on one of these stars and banners here. So I'll select this one. So I can click on it. And then I can press my mouse button and drag the size that I want. Then I can position it there. And then I can type inside here, swap ICT. I can now copy it. I can even copy it by right-clicking on it and clicking on copy. And then I can paste there. And then I can drag that object. I can resize this one first, resize it, and then I can drag my object there. Then here, I can change this text to swap life skills. Or because here it reads swaps works, I can change this and make it or delete it and write swap or ICT YouTube channel. I can also change this, delete swap, and then have it as swap live skills YouTube channel. Now, because the word channel is repeating, I can just type inside here swaps YouTube channels. And then I can erase this YouTube channel or this text and leave it as live skills, where I can write here as number 1, live skills. Then here, or this one, this banner, I can have it as 2. And then I can delete the one, YouTube channel, that way. And then we have another channel. So I can click on Insert menu, click on Objects, on Autoshapes, not objects, but on Shapes. Click on Shapes. Choose another banner. So I'm going to choose a banner that is similar to the one that I've been using. So I'll click again on this banner, and then I can draw my object there. And then I can label this object. I can type inside here, Glorious Ministry. There's also something that is remaining. So this one, I can drag it inwards a little bit that way. I can copy this, right-click on it, then click copy, and then right-click on an empty space and click paste, and then I can drag this down here, and then I can write this. I can change the content here to swap gospel artist. So I can type gospel artist. So due to the fact that this is a swap artist or gospel artist, I can adjust here swap's YouTube channels. Now this one, I can change it to swap's works. So I can have it as swap artistic works. Then delete YouTube channels, and then add YouTube channel here, live skills YouTube channel, edit this one to swap Glorious Ministry, YouTube channel, and also adjust this one to ICT YouTube channel. So that's how we insert Autoshapes in our presentation. Always remember to click on Save button. So you can see we have been able to insert objects in our presentation and at the same time add the text into them. Position them the way we want, just as you have seen, and also resize them as you want. You can always change the shape of your shapes. So you can reshape a shape. To reshape a shape, that is, change the look of the shape, you can select that auto shape by clicking on it. If the shape has a yellow adjustment handle, it can be reshaped. Some shapes do not have adjustment handles and can only be resized. Now, once you have selected your shape by clicking on it, you can position the mouse pointer over the yellow adjustment handle if it is there, then hold down the mouse button and drag the handle to change the shape. You can also reshape the auto shape by right-clicking on it and selecting Edit Points. You then point your mouse on an edit point and press down the left mouse button. You then drag it towards the side of your interest and release the mouse button. You then repeat this step at various edit points till you have the shape that you want. An adjustment handle is a diamond-shaped handle used to adjust the appearance but not the size of most auto shapes. For example, you can adjust a rounded rectangle to be more or less rounded. The following is therefore a demonstration on how to reshape an auto shape in a presentation by the title Introduction to Emily Swap. In this tutorial, we have been able to insert some shapes. Like we have this shape, we have these other shapes that are almost similar in appearance. So if you want to reshape, for example, this object here, what we need to do is the following. So you need to click on the picture or on the object or on the shape. So for example, I can click on this shape. You can see this shape does not have any yellow handle anywhere. The same to this one, and this one, and this one, and this one. However, if you want to rotate, for example, this shape, you can always point on this rotational handle here, and then you can rotate as you want. For example, that way. You can even organize it the way you want, like that. You can also click on this other one, and you can see we have this handle also inside here. So you can edit, or you can reshape your object the way you want, like this one here. You can see I can make it smaller, I can make it bigger. So I can move it, for example, I can make it bigger a little bit that way, then have it there. I can also rotate this other one. So I can point on this handle. And by the way, if you look carefully, there is this button here. Let's have a slideshow to see how it looks like. Of course, you can see the handles in slideshow mode. So then we press escape, go back to our normal view. If I click on this object, we can see we have this button here, which we can also use to reshape this object. So we can make it a little bit thinner that way. And then I can rotate my object that way, drag it inside that way. And also, we can also reduce the size by adjusting it that way. Then we can drag this image or this object to look, for example, in that manner. Remember, this is purely artistic work. We can also reshape this object here by dragging on this, clicking on this point, then pressing either out once, up once, or in once to make it look that way. And then I can point or I can drag it and place it that way. Remember this about creativity. I can also adjust this object by by pressing down mouse button and then dragging inwards that way. And then I can resize it to resemble a Mediswap Live Skills YouTube channel like that. And then I can rotate it a little bit that way, then drag it to a point like that. Drag this handle in out once a little bit that way, and also rotate a little bit that way so that it points on to a Mediswap hand. Then I can also click inside that object and drag it to that shape. Rotate also this one a little bit so that our picture looks, or our combination of images looks a little bit balanced. That way, I can also drag this one out once a little bit. Wow, that's a great. That's great. That's good work, according to me. So this is purely artistic. So you can resize and reshape your Autoshape or Autoshapes the way you want. If I right click on any of them inside, if I right click, for example, on this shape inside where you are holding your mouse properly so that it does not move, I want us to see a menu. So I can right click on an image or an object like this. And then my mouse button is moving. Good. You can see there's this option here, command which reads edit points. You can click on edit points. When you click on edit points and then you point on any of the edit points and then press in once, you can see you can change the shape of that outer shape. I can also do the same on this upper handle and drag in once, for example, that way. And you can see the shape is changing. If I right click on it again, while holding my mouse properly, and then click on edit points, you can see You can point, for example, this other handle and drag out once that way. Do the same to this one. Drag out once a little bit that way. I can also drag it out once a little bit that way. And then you can see there's a whole paradigm shift on the look of our image. That way. And then I can rotate this object a little bit so that it looks that way. And then I can move my other images like that. And then we can rotate this one that way. And then rotate it further, drag it and drop it. For example, that point there. And you can see how you reshape, resize your shapes or auto shapes. Always remember to save your work by clicking on Save button. You can also be able to change a shape of an auto shape to another shape. How do we do that? Select the auto shape that you want to change. Click on Format under Drawing Tools menu, and then click on Edit Shape button and point on Change Shape. Then click the shape that you want. The following is a demonstration on how you can change some of the shapes that we have already added in our presentation by the title Introduction to MLSwap. So if, for example, we want to change the shape for this object to another, you click on the object, like I have clicked on Life Skills YouTube channel. Then you click on Format menu. So you move on and click on Format menu. After clicking on Format menu, you click on this command, which is Edit Shape. So you click on this button and Edit Shape. Point on Change Shape. And then from the list of the shapes displayed, you choose the shape of your choice. Let me choose a shape. And the shape that I'm going to choose in this case is this shape, this one, for quant arrow callout. So you click on it. You can see that the shape has changed to another, and your various handles that you can use to adjust our object. Now I can also do the same for this other object. So I can click on the ICT YouTube channel, then click on Format menu, click on Edit Shape, point on Change Shape, and I'm going to choose a similar shape like the one that I've already selected, which is this one here, which is this one. So click on it. And that's how we change the shapes. Remember, you can always drag and drop your object the way you want. You can always drag your object the way you want. So I want to reposition my objects or adjust the position of my objects that way. Always remember to click on Save button. Just as you have seen, my dear students and the rest of the learners, anytime you want to perform any activity on any object, you have to select it first. So how have we been selecting objects? So to select an object or objects, you do the following. To select one object, you just need to click on the object or click the selection border of the object. To select an object that is part of a group, first select the group and then click the object that you want. A group is a collection of objects that behave as one for the purpose of moving, resizing, or rotating them. A group can be composed of multiple sets of groups. To select multiple objects, you can do one of the following. To select one object at a time, you hold down Shift key while you click on each object. To select objects that are a part of a group, select the group and then hold down Shift while you click the objects you want. Note, to deselect all the objects, click any place but on the objects. To deselect one object at a time, hold down Shift and click the object. If you are having difficulty selecting a specific object or a group of objects, click the zoom box to magnify the view. The following is therefore a demonstration on how to select a single or several objects in a presentation by the title Introduction to ML Swap. Like in this presentation, you can see that I have several objects. If I want to select one of them, like I want to select the shape for life skills, I'll just need to click on it. So I'll just click on it that way. You can see if I click on this other object, Glorious Ministry, the first object is deselected. So if I want to select several objects at the same time, I can press down the Shift key on my keyboard. So I'm pressing Shift key, and then I can click on the first object, then move on and click on the next object, and then move and click on the next object. I can also do the same by pressing Control key. So I can press down the Control key and click on the next object and also click on the next object. As you can see, I've been able to click on several objects by holding down Shift key or a Control key as I select the objects. If I want to deselect any of the objects, I have to press down Control key again on my keyboard and click on the object that is already selected. For example, to deselect ICT YouTube channel, I'll press down my Control key on the keyboard as I have done, and then I'll click on the object. You can see ICT YouTube channel is now deselected. I can also deselect live skills. So I can press down my Control key on the keyboard, and then I can click on live skills YouTube channel. And as you can see, it is also deselected. If I want to deselect all of them, I can click anywhere on the slide and the entire selection disappears. So that's how you select a single object or several objects in a slide. Sometimes you may have several objects that you wanted to combine and treat them as a single object. So how do you group and stack objects in a slide? When you group objects, You combine them so you can work with them as though they were a single object. You can flip, rotate, and resize or scale all objects in a group as a single unit. You can also change the attributes of all objects in a group at one time. For example, you might change the field color or add a shadow to all objects in a group. Or you can select an item within a group and apply an attribute without any grouping. You can also create groups within groups to help you build complex drawings. You can ungroup a group of objects at any time and then regroup them later. Objects automatically stack in individual layers as you add them. In other words, objects automatically stack themselves in individual layers as you add them. You see the stacking order when objects overlap. The top object covers a portion of objects beneath it. You can move individual objects or groups of objects in a stack. For example, you can move objects up or down within a stack, one layer at a time, or you can move them to the top or bottom of a stack in one move. You can overlap objects when you draw to create different effects. So, to group objects, you select the objects you want to group by clicking on each while pressing down Ctrl key on the keyboard. Then click on Format menu under Tools or under Drawing Tools menu. Click on Format under Drawing Tools menu. Then click on Group button and select Group. To ungroup objects, you right-click on Group you want to ungroup, then point on Group and select Ungroup. Then click outside the objects. The following is therefore a demonstration on how to group and ungroup objects in a presentation by the title Introduction to ML Swap. So in this presentation, especially for slide number 9, you can see that we have various objects. If we want these objects to become like a single object, we need to group them. Note, if for example, I press on this object, I press down my mouse button on it, and then I drag, you can see it will move as a single object. So if I want to treat these objects or combine these objects to make them one single object, I need to click on all the objects. So click on each of them while holding down my Control key on the keyboard. So this is how you select your objects. And then to make them behave as a single object, we need to group them. And for that reason, we need to click on Format under the Drawing Tools. Then we select this command here. We select this command for group. So I'll click on Group and then click Group. You can see even the placeholders have reduced, or in other words, the resizing handles for the entire or for each of the objects has been removed, and now we have a single object. If I click anywhere on this object, if I click, for example, on this placeholder here, and I drag my mouse button, you can see the object moves as a single object. So all the objects have been grouped into one. If I want them to ungroup these objects, what I need to do is to just right-click on the grouped objects that way. So click on the objects or on the grouped object, right-click on it. When you right-click, properly right-clicking, so let me click on it, And then I can right click that way. Do you see group or ungroup? No. So what does that mean? We might not have selected properly. Let me right click again. Do you see it? Not yet. Let me right click here, inside here. You can see, whenever you right click properly on the grouped object, you'll be able to see this command, group. So you point on group and then you click on ungroup. You can see that the elements have been ungrouped. That's why you can see resizing handles for each of the specific elements. And then you can click outside. And then if you click on any of the objects and remove them, you can see now they have been ungrouped. I want them to remain as grouped. So I can click on undo from the quick access toolbar. So let me click on undo. And then I can click again on undo. Now my objects have been regrouped. If I click on the grouped objects and I try to move it, it will move as a single object. So that's how you group and ungroup objects in a slide. Another activity that you can perform on your shapes is formatting them. That is, making the shapes look attractive and appealing to the eyes of the audience. So to format a shape, you right-click on the shape to be formatted and then click on Format Shape. From the Format Shape task pane and the Shape Objects tab and the Fill and Line tab, make your settings for fill and for line. And the Effects tab, set your options for shadow, reflection, glow, soft edges, 3D format, and 3D rotation. And the size and the properties tab, set your options for size, position, text box, and alt text. And the text options tab and the text fill and outline tab, set your options for text fill and outline, or for text or text outline. And the text effects tab, set your options for shadow, reflection, glow, soft edges, 3D format, and 3D rotation. And the text box tab, set the various attributes for text box, such as alignment, amongst others. Then close the Format Shape task pane once you are done. The following is therefore a demonstration on how to format the Autoshapes that we have already added in our presentation by the title Introduction to ML Swap. So let's make these Autoshapes look presentable. First of all, let's scroll on our presentation so that we can see how our objects are looking like. So that's the first slide. Our second slide, our third slide. Remember, also our third slide has objects. We have these Autoshapes. So we can still format them. So let's start by formatting these objects in our slide number 3. So I can click on several of the objects. So I can click on this object, press down the Control key, then click on this other object, click on that object, and click on this object. I can remove selection from any of the objects by clicking on it. Then I can right-click on this selection. I can right-click on this selection property to get Format Object. So you click on Format Object. And then you'll be able to see the various tabs. We have Shape Options tab and Text Box tab. If I click on Shape Options tab, I can see, or you can see, we have Fill and we have Line, and under each, there are several things we can do. The first thing I want to do is to change the color. So I can click on Color, this button, and choose a color of my choice. For example, I want to choose the yellow color. So I can click on yellow color that way. If I wanted to change the color for a specific object, I can click on that object like that one, then change its color. So I can click on color, or I can choose a fill. Like I can click on gradient fill and choose a fill of my choice. Of course, let me change the color. And then in this case, I can have some green like that. Then I can also change the color or the fill for a swap live skills. In this case, let me choose now something else, gradient fill. And then I can change that color to blue. Or let me choose this one. I can also click on this one, and then this time round, I'm going to select pattern fill. And then I can choose a different pattern. I can choose some green and some yellow. How does that look like? Is it looking presentable? Let me change this one to pink. And this color, I can choose that one. So how is this, how are these objects looking like? They're somehow looking presentable, but not as I would have wanted. So let me return my former color or my former views by clicking on undo button. So let me undo until I'm taken back to my previous color, which is that color. But then I can now change it to be that blue be a little bit different. So let me choose a different shade. Let me right click on the objects that I've selected, click on format menu, format. Now one is the format text box. I want to format these three. So I'll click on that object, click on that object, click on that object, and then I'll right click on my selection and click on format objects. Then I'll click on fill color and choose this color, teal. Do I need to change the line? Yes. Let me choose a different line. So I'm going to click on the compound type line, and then I can select a certain line here. Let me choose this one. Let me increase the width for that line by adjusting this the width. That is the PT. In other words, I'm adjusting the thickness that way. And then I can close this button or this task pane, and then I can rotate these objects. I want them to look like, I want that one to look that way. Then I can also move this one. I want it to look, I want it to look that way. Is that really presentable? No, no. But I can move this one a little bit that way. This is called overlapping. Do I need to change the direction for this text? Let me see. If I select this text that way, can we be able to change the direction for that text? Yes. If I click on text direction and the format menu here, then I click on, for example, rotate all text. You can see. If I click on that, you can see rotate at 90 degrees. A little bit better. Horizontal? No. Rotate all text 90 degrees? Yes. So I can click on that so that now my object will look a little bit, or my text will look a little bit better. Then I can resize this object by making it a little bit smaller and place it there. Then I can also rotate this object a little bit that way, then resize it a little bit. And then I can click on that object and rotate it a little bit that way and adjust it to that level. And then I can also format this Autoshape or this text box. So I can select my text and then change the color, and the color for that object is going to be, I want to choose green. So I can select that color and click OK. How is that text looking like? No, let me undo, or let me change that color to this color that I love, that one. So let's go to slide number 8. This slide, not slide number 8, but number 9. Then I want to change each of these objects' colors, but they are different. So let me click on this first object, right click on it. So you have to right click properly. If you see it reading move here or copy here, it means that you are not right clicking properly. So you click on format shape. I want to change this color, and I want to choose blue for that color. That is for fill. So you have to click on fill tab. And then under fill, I want to change this color to that color. And then of course you are going to change the text color so that the color is visible. So I'm going to select the text inside there, and then I can choose a different color. For example, blue, but blue is almost similar to the other blue. So let me change that color, and I choose that color, and I click OK, and make it bold. Let me change this color so that it becomes more darker, or it becomes darker. So let me choose black. I can also increase the font size, for example, to 20. Let me also change this color, this fill, and then make it blue, just like the other one. So I'm going to choose teal. And then I'm going to change this color to black. Increase the font size to 20. Make it bold. What about this one? This object, I can click on it, then click on fill. Under fill, I can choose a different color. And in this case, I'm going to choose yellow. And I'm going to change this color to that color. So for text, I'm going to increase this font size to 20. Then the font color, I want to make it blue, or I want to choose one that will be quite dark. Let me choose blue, that blue. And then, okay, make that text bold. Then I can leave the others that way. Remember, there are rules for combining the text colors with the backgrounds. So that's how you format your text as well as your objects as you like. Always remember to save your work by clicking on Save button from the Quick Access toolbar. You can also create a mirror image of an object. How do you create a mirror image of an object? To create a mirror image of an object, you right-click the Autoshape picture, one art or clip art you want to duplicate. And then click Copy and click Paste. Click on the copied image, then click on Format menu and Drawing or Picture Tools menu, and click on Rotate or Flip, and then click Flip Horizontal or Flip Vertical. Drag and position the duplicate object so that it mirrors the original object. The following is a demonstration on how to create a mirror image of a shape in a presentation by the title, Introduction to MLSwap. So while in this presentation, let's see which image we can create. A reflection for. That's slide number 2, slide number 3, slide number 4, slide number 5, slide number 6, number 7, number 8, number 9, and slide number 10. Now we want to create a mirror for this object. So let me crop this object first. So I can click on this object, then click on Format menu, and do we have crop? Yes. Let me double click it and then click on Drawing Tools and Format menu. Where is our crop? Do you see the cropping for this object? This object does not have the cropping. Why? The reason is this is a wand art, and a wand art does not have, or usually cannot be cropped unless you convert it to an object or a shape or a picture. So what we are going to do, I'm just going to resize this wand art by adjusting this handle that way. And then to create a duplicate for this wand art, what we just need to do is to copy it. So I'm going to right click or click on this object. I'll click on this object and then click on copy. Then I can click outside here and click on paste. From there, we can drag our object or our wand art, for example, up to there. And then we need to rotate this object. So I can click on format. I can click on format and drawing tools, and then click on rotate. From there, I can click on flip vertical. You can see. What about flip horizontal? Flip vertical. That is like a reflection. If I was to click on rotate right, rotate left, that's how it will look like. Now, let me click on flip vertical. And then now I can move this object oppositely. I can move it opposite of the other. So I can move it closer to the previous object. Let me resize this a little bit. So let me drag this one that way. Let me undo, and then I can now move this one a little bit like that. Yes, and you can see we have been able to create a reflection of our object. Always remember to save your work. Another activity that we can do in our objects is to move an object forward or backwards. For you to be able to move an object forward or backward, you select the object you want to move. If the object is hidden, select any object and then press Tab or Shift key combined with the Tab key until the object you want is selected. Then do the following. Click on Format under the Drawing Tools menu. Click on Bring Forward or Send Backwards and select the options under each. The following is therefore a demonstration on how to move objects backwards and forwards in a presentation by the title, Introduction to MLSwap. So while in this presentation, let's see which objects we can organize by moving forwards or backwards. Let me first of all move this object or move this picture from where it is to a position like there or like that. On slide number 3, we have these objects. We have this object, and this object. If I want this object to move forward, this one, what I just need to do is to click on Format menu and Drawing Tools. And then I can click on Bring Forward. So I can click on this button and then click Bring Forward. Let me click on Bring Forward. You can see if I move this object, it is now in front of MLSwap Live Skills object. So I want it to be at that point. What about this other one? This one, not that, but this object, MLSwap Glorious Ministry, you can see that it is in front of MLSwap Live Skills. I wanted to go behind MLSwap Live Skills YouTube channel. So what I need to do is to click that object, click on Format menu and Drawing Tools, and then I can click Send Backward, and then select this option, Send Backward. So I'll click on Send Backward. Let me click there again. Good. It's now behind MLSwap Live Skills. I can also adjust this object by dragging it a little bit downwards or upwards, like that. Let me have it that way, so that it looks a little bit artistic. Let me have it there. And then, of course, I can rotate this object. Let me rotate this object a little bit so that it resembles Emily Swap Glorious Mini, that is Emily Swap ICT, a little bit that way. And I can move it inwards now, that point. And I can have it that way, but is it balanced? Let's have it that way. So that's how you send objects forwards or backwards. When there are several, with some on the first layer, the other one second layer, and also third layer. And with that, my dear students and the rest of the learners, we have come to the end of part 14 of the 25-part series. You can continue to part 15 of 25-part series, in which we are going to learn on how to work with graphics, with our attention being on charts. Congratulations for learning part 14 of 25 on working with Autoshapes graphics in creating presentations series. Autoshapes are a part of graphics, and therefore, in our next presentation, we are also going to see on how you can work with the next type of graphics. Congratulations, therefore, for learning part 14 of 25 on working with the Autoshapes graphics in creating presentation series. You can access the rest of the parts in the series as well as other computer or ICT videos by clicking or tapping on Emily Swap ICT YouTube channel below this video. To subscribe to the channel, tap on subscribe button below this video in YouTube if it's not kindly reading as subscribed. For any further correspondence, kindly write it to us through the email emilyswap@gmail.com. Thank you very much for listening to me, and God bless.